Hello, I am Kimberly Hauser-Taylor and welcome to my Harp Corner. Today I am going to talk about competitions. We have had a rash of competitions happen in the past year. There's been the Israel International Harp Competition, there's been the International Harp Competition in Indiana, the USA International Harp Competition, American Harp Society Awards has happened, and various others. There's been other ones internationally. In fact, when I was studying and doing competitions, there were not as many available. So this is really cool that there are so many opportunities available for young harpists wishing to test their mettle in the competition arena. And I know that competitions are a mixed bag as an experience. I think they really depend on your attitude going in and the kind of support you have in order to have them be a successful experience. Now, for it to be a successful experience, it does not necessarily mean you won. You can have a successful competition experience even if you didn't take a prize. You can still learn a lot about yourself. You can learn a lot about the harp. You can learn a lot about the repertoire of the harp. You get to meet harpists from all over the nation or around the world. You get to meet other teachers. You get to see what other teachers' students are doing. It can be an amazing experience. I became interested in competing when I observed the 1989 USA International Harp Competition in Indiana. It was the inaugural one. It was super exciting. I think I was a junior in high school, and I had never seen or heard harp playing at that level before. And I sat through all the stages, watched everybody play, and it was an amazing journey to observe. And it got me excited. I went home and I wore out a set of harp strings practicing because I was so motivated and inspired by the experience. So I myself, once I got into university, started to look at competing and did my first one my freshman year, at the end of my freshman year, and I did the Anna Adams a couple times and the American Harp Society Awards, I think like 3 times, and I also competed at the International Harp Contest in Israel. So I did all of that. Did I ever take any big prizes? No, I won 3rd once at the AHS in the advanced division. So there we go. However, do I regret doing it? No, I do not. Personally, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting that repertoire list. Finally came out. I waited for them. I was excited about them. Get that list of music that I was going to challenge myself with to learn in the time frame needed. And I was so happy to get them. I would buy the music and I would dive in. And I saw it as a way of pushing myself, pushing my limits, exploring the repertoire. And so I think that if I had just allowed to be happy with the experience, I would have probably been a happier competitor in general and maybe more successful. Who knows? But there's always people around you who I know. I had a parent who was supportive and yet really could not handle me losing. She could not handle me being under stress. It bothered her. So she was negative about the competing. And you need that support to be really positive. I personally think to be successful, to really be successful in these, to make them the best experience, is to have an incredibly strong support team. This is family, significant others, good friends, teachers, coaches. All of those people should be all completely on your side. It's going to be harder to do well if you don't have all those in place. Other things that are really positive that can make it a positive experience is getting that literature early. Study early. Study hard. Get it memorized as quickly as you can so you can practice the performance. You can play it for as many different people as possible. Get opinions. Learn to sift through those opinions as to what you want to take from them and what you want to give, what you want to remove. Not every opinion you get is going to be the one you want to take on as part of your own artistic self. However, a lot of good advice can come from it as well. And other things, again, I mentioned, play for as many people as possible. That's where this gets tricky. Competition takes practice. So you have the practice of learning the piece, you have the practice of performing the piece, and then you have the added practice of competing with the pieces. So competition takes practice itself. That's why I'm happy to see so many more opportunities available for harpists to compete, because it allows us to hone those skills, and it really pushes your personal limits. You find out how much stress you can take. You find out how much repertoire you can really learn in a certain length of time. You find out how well you travel. You find out how well you adapt to new spaces, new harps. All of this experience is part of that experience. How well you can take criticism. How well you can take success. Both of those can derail you. However, there's a lot of things about competition that need to be taken with a grain of salt. 1, winning. Congratulations to all the winners, by the way. Hard work. Congratulations to everybody who's competed and who competes. It's hard work, and just taking it on is amazing. However, if you are only doing it to win, you will be disappointed. You will find yourself upset. If you do it to get the prize money, you'll be upset. Believe me, don't compete for money. It's ridiculous. Even though you need it desperately, it doesn't matter. It's an expensive endeavor. You're going to put out more probably than you're ever going to get out of it financially by winning. That's because that's not what it's about. The prizes are fun, and it's good to get one, I'm sure, but it's about the learning experience. It's about the learning about yourself and what you can handle. That is really important about this experience. It is just, consider it a further investment into your education. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do this. I mean, there is no requirements for a harpist or a musician of any kind to compete. It's not required. This is something extra you do. So if it is not your bag and you don't like it, you don't want to go there, don't. There's so many more things you can do. However, if you are really excited about it, or you have students excited about it, prepare them to have a good experience. It's that simple. Other negatives of competition. Other people's attitudes. These can be detrimental. Politics really do play a role in them. So being from a student from a certain teacher, and how well that teacher is being viewed by the harp world right now can affect you. Your country, your technical style, all of these things may not be what that particular jury is into right now. And that can be, when you put your whole heart and soul into performing, which I'm sure every single competitor is doing, and you give it your best, and you work really hard, and you even play well. I mean, you're even excited about how well you played, and you just were not what they liked that day. That can be hard. And so competing requires you to build a better sense of self. And if that self is already very tender, this might not be the arena for you. Just saying. If you don't like to travel, if you don't like to perform, this is not for you. Again, this is going to require both those things. It's going to require you to travel. It's going to require you to perform. It's going to require you to play strange instruments. And that can be very uncomfortable. And you often are not given the time to get as familiar with an instrument or the bench or the stage. You're placed on the stage a certain way. You kind of have to take it as it comes. And that can be really disconcerting for someone who's not used to rolling with the punches. You don't know what number you're going to pull as far as where you compete at. So there's a lot of unknowns going into this, and that can be extremely difficult to deal with. It can be difficult to get enough practice time, difficult to eat well, to exercise well. How you present yourself becomes important, particularly when they are not behind screens. Even when they are behind screens, it can be difficult. There is a lot of attention given to the competitors now, more so than ever. I know that when I was a student, you maybe got listed, American Harp Journal would come out and they would list the people that competed, and they would, list the winners, and that came out biannually, and that was it. Now, it's all out there on social media, from being in the contest to who the jury is and it's broadcast and people can tune in and watch, and there's just this bigger global audience, and you're in the magazines, and I see these young people who have come up in this world, and I'm like, wow, that is a lot of media attention coming on them for these competitions. And whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'm not sure. I think it's a fairly new phenomenon in the harp world to see a student literally grow up in the Harp Column magazine or in the American Harp Journal, seeing them go from, doing their earliest little experiments with their performing to winning the big international competition, and let's be so proud of them, because wow, you have watched them grow up, and it's kind of neat. So I'm not really negative about them, and I know a lot of people are. I do think they do tend to play to the safer side. They choose a performer that hits all the benchmarks, and a lot of times more adventuresome and creative and musical people who don't do things the way that are expected by that golden standard can get kind of pushed by the wayside because they're looking for that golden standard. And however, I believe this is changing. I think there's a lot of change that's going to come up with the next generation of young harpists. I really do. I think that their voices are being heard more. Their thoughts are being heard more. They're writing more. They're studying more. They're practicing more. They're playing at a higher level than ever before. And it's international. I think that maybe here in the USA we need to up our game a bit, but just saying. But anyway, because there's kids that are coming out of other countries that are just astonishing. This is really great to see. So I say go for it. Know, however, that it is not going to be the pinnacle of your career. It shouldn't be. You're still young if you're competing. You're still under the age of, I think the top age is 35, 36 for some of these. And you have a lot of musical life after that. So don't make it the end all. It is just a stepping stone. It is just an educational, experience. And it will come in useful, because guess what? In the real music world, you have auditions for orchestra, which is, again, a competition. You have auditions when you have to if you go for a professorship. You have times when you are just being evaluated by a larger musical world than just the harp world. And this prepares you for dealing with that. You will get criticized. You will have things said that you don't even understand. Why are they even saying that about my playing? So it makes you question and look back at what you're doing, reevaluate it. I personally believe I've only became a better player from doing competitions. I really do. There is another thing that can happen though, and this is something to watch. Physical health, particularly your hands. Not everybody's body can handle the load. You can hurt yourself. So be careful. Make sure you have people watching out for you and not what you can just produce on the stage. So make sure you're watching. If your hands are bothering you and the repertoire is too much, back off. It's not worth an injury. If you have any other thoughts you would like to share on this topic, please comment below. I post here on YouTube about twice a week. Sometimes I take a week off just to, give myself a little break from putting myself out there, because putting yourself out there requires a certain vulnerability, and I need some time away from that occasionally, and I know that about myself. So, if you like my video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I post mostly harp-related content because that is what I do, but there's also just music and life and creativity as well. So have a good day, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.